At the Next Generation in Trucking Association, we are here to promote careers in the trucking industry, to build and enhance school-based training programs, to connect tomorrow's workforce with today's employers, and celebrate achievements across trucking. And we do all of this to support a professional, skilled, and diverse supply chain. We especially want to thank Keenan Advantage, Lincoln Technical Institute, Long Haul Trucking, Lytics, Nashville Auto and Diesel College, Old Dominion, Republic Services, Rail, Ryder, and Truck Parking Club. Our tagline is Your Road to the Future, and let's go to the future and listen to NGT Talks. Hello, welcome to NGT Talks, and I have an interesting guest with us today, Hannah Dannecker. And why do I have her on the show? Well, she has created this amazing book series for young kids to learn about the trucking industry. And I am so excited for us to have this conversation today and to share your vision. So, Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so obsessed that you have them all. That's amazing.
I know. I love them. They're so fun.
That's amazing.
I had to. So, Hannah, Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm an author and a public speaker, and I work for my family's business, which is in staffing and consulting. And I grew up in my family's business. It's been around for as long as I can remember. So I've been in the transportation industry for my entire life, which has been such a fun blessing. Like I have fun, crazy memories running around trade shows and climbing in the back of trucks and feeling like it's this like cool jungle gym of craziness.
My kids have that too.
I love it. So that's kind of like the origin behind like why I care about transportation and why I love drivers so much. And then I'm a public speaker, and I talk to people about how to recruit and manage Gen Z employees into underrepresented career fields. So I was really just very active on social media talking about this a lot. And then someone called me forward, bless their heart. They changed my life forever. They just were like, you would be a fantastic speaker on this topic. Could you come and give us a presentation? And it really started this whirlwind of what then later turned into the books, because every time I hopped on stage, people were like, this is great, but the funnel's been broken for a really long time. How do we fix this? And that's kind of what came back to the book series. But author, speaker, and staffing agency.
Oh, that's such an interesting story. I didn't realize that it came out of this need to solve a problem.
Yeah.
And you saw that problem was getting that funnel when they're young. And we hear that a lot. So I think that is just amazing. Okay. I think we're going to have another podcast series on Gen Z and getting them into careers, right?
I'm so happy to talk about that. It is hard for me to shut my mouth about it. It's my favorite thing to talk about.
Same. Amazing. Okay. Well, we will do that. So let's talk about the books though. And first of all, you grew up in the industry. When you were a kid, did you think that you were going to get into the industry, or were you like, I'm going to do something completely different?
No, I've always loved kids. Every job I've ever had outside of the family business has revolved around children. And so I thought I was going to be a teacher. And that's kind of what created the spiral into helping bring other people in, because I was connecting with so many kids. And I was, a camp instructor, a camp director, and then a substitute teacher. And then the pandemic happened. And I was living in Florida, and my whole family is from Canada. And as you know, the border shut down and everything changed. And so when I was looking at what to do next, I wanted to get a full-time job, but I wanted to get a full-time job and be able to see my family. And with the 14-day quarantine and everything that was required at that time, I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to get 2 weeks of vacation for my second year. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to borrow one into my first year, which is like the standard. But I couldn't navigate that in the middle of the pandemic. So I decided to move home and kind of put all of those dreams on the side, which is when I started working for the family's business. And I fell in love with it. I absolutely loved every bit of it. But at that time, there was so much revolving around thank a driver, everything you have, right? Like thank a driver, thank you as
Yeah.
workers. And it opened my eyes up to see the value of what all of these professionals were doing rather than just this cool thing that my family did. It was bringing it back to the basics of, oh my gosh, like nothing I have would be here without them. Nothing that I like. I'm a comfort gal, so like I love a cozy blanket. I love a good meal. I love like some of those luxury things, and none of them would be here without drivers. And so it just opened my eyes to what that looked like, and that was kind of a part of the mission that set it all in full. Part of the problem that put it all into focus of how I wanted to help other people continue to see that after the thank a driver movement was kind of over.
Yeah, right. It was drivers are essential employees, and what will we do without them? And they were really the heroes on the highway.
Yeah.
And it's easy for us as society to start to forget that. So bringing that forward of, hey, truck drivers are heroes on the highway, and we wouldn't have any of these things in our room, what we're wearing, if it wasn't for a professional driver. So tell me, what then you decided, hey, I think I want to write some books. Like, what was that process like?
Yeah.
And what was your inspiration?
Yeah. Oh, I love talking about this. Do you mind? Can I swear on the podcast? Is that if I drop I have a title of a book that has a swear word in it.
Oh, okay. I
Okay.
think so. I don't know.
I want to be respectful, but so in the middle of the pandemic, I wrote this book called Well Shit, and the whole concept was I was in the middle of transitioning from university to a working career, and I had so much imposter syndrome. Everywhere I looked, I had imposter syndrome, but I had amazing people in my life who taught me really cool lessons, and I loved writing. And so I started by writing all of these different chapters and kind of putting them together, but just as stories that I could give to people to say, hey, thank you for teaching me this. I loved this. And then once I had all of it written out, I couldn't not turn it into a book. So that's kind of how I learned that I loved writing, that I loved creating big projects and writing books. And then I was talking on a 10-year anniversary Women with Drive panel for Trucking Canada HR. And we were chatting about all of the different things that you can do. And I had tried to reach out to Mattel to tell them that, hey, would love to see a truck driver Barbie, and was really trying to push this mission and get it out there. And I was talking about it. And then when I was there and publicly sharing about my frustrations about the fact that there wasn't one, I was like, I can do what I can do to sign a petition, to try and get something out there, but it's not going to do anything. Like
Mhm.
that's only going to do what it can do. That's kind of outside of my control. And so that was the origin of the entire series, which was Dad the Driver. And so I had this kind of spark of an idea. Hey, I love writing. Hey, I love drivers. Why don't I do a kids book and kind of explain the beauty of what drivers are and why that's so important to everybody around us? And also bringing back, like my grandfather was a driver, and so the book is dedicated to him. But my mom had shared so many stories about how she didn't, as a child, understand the value behind what he was doing every single day as well. And so I wanted them to know, like, when your dad's leaving at night, it's not about him leaving, it's about him going and putting food on your table and other people's tables as well, or bringing medicine to the hospitals or whatever that looks like. And so that was the heart behind it. And I sat on that idea for probably 4 or 5 months until I came up with the idea of what the Wonder Workshop was, because I
Mhm.
wanted it to be important and explain all of the value, but I needed it to be fun for children as well. And so I had this vision of like this candy land gumdrop volcano in my head, but I couldn't figure out how to put it together with the driver. And so that's when the Wonder Workshop kind of came in, which is like the magic school bus or the magic tree house. It's really just a vehicle that takes them out of the real world and puts them in a fun, crazy environment, and allows the pages to be bright and vibrant and fun, and the environment to be crazy and everything to be magical while still allowing the validity of the true work behind the people.
Yes, and I got that when I read it. I was like, "Oh, this is the Wonder Workshop." It's a magical place. And so I love the elements of magic and fantasy and then reality as
Mhm.
well.
Thank you.
Um, so, what about the different books that you have? Tell
Mhm.
me about the first book you wrote was Dad the Driver,
Yes.
and then tell me about what made you think, well, maybe then I need what was your next book? And then like
Yeah.
what inspired you to do the other books?
Yeah. So the next one was Mom, the Plant Manager, because Dad's
Okay.
a hard worker and I wanted Mom to be a hard worker too. I was like, this is an equal opportunity household here. So
I'm the plant manager.
there it is. And so that started with just the hope of giving her the same kind of validity and role behind it. And then from there, I knew that I always wanted it to be a really big series, but I didn't have the gumption to again, the imposter syndrome struck in. I was like, this is insane. Who am I to write a bunch of books about careers that I don't know? What am I doing here? But I also give this presentation on goal setting. I love setting goals. I love reaching them. And I know from that that when you say something out loud to somebody that you respect,
Mm,
you
yeah.
become more hell-bent on actually completing and doing it. And so one day I was recording a podcast just like this, and I had been thinking about wanting to launch the entire series, and I just said it out loud to someone I really respected. And then I was like, oh, I hung the
Okay.
podcast up and I was like, now I got to do the dang thing. And so I had always wanted to, but that was kind of like the true okay, now we're going to make it happen and make the whole series erupt. But I did all of the transportation series and I absolutely love it and am so obsessed with it. But people don't care about stuff that they don't care about until they know why to care about it. And so that was what launched the Dream Job series. I had a couple of parents who had said to me, like, when's the next one coming out? Like, we love the idea of the continuation of it. Any book that's in the series, we will read. And that was when this little light went off in my head. And I was like, well, what if I created a dream job series that gets people excited about the things that they're already excited about? And then that can act as the liaison to the underrepresented careers. And so that's kind of why it's twofold. There are some that you're like, well, why do you even need to have one about that? It's like to grab your interest and get you excited about the other ones.
Absolutely. And I know that you've got a series of some other careers in different fields besides trucking.
I do.
And tell us just a little bit about those.
Yeah, I have a couple of them right here. So I have Mateo, the makeup artist, Carmen, the content creator, Gia, the gymnast, Eddie, the entrepreneur. This one's really cute. This one's my dad. I'm obsessed with that.
Oh,
A firefighter, because every kid wants to be a firefighter,
yeah.
doctor, environmental scientist. I have an app developer and an astronaut and a surfer. And so those are the 11 that launched the Dream Job series. And I wanted to create a combination of like brains, bronze, beauty, kind of like taking it back to that original Survivor series of all of the different kinds of humans. But a little bit of everything for everybody was the goal. And then again, just acting as the liaison to bring them in to understand the other kinds of opportunities that are available and just as amazing as what they see as these flashy things.
Yeah. And tell me, like, so, you're a little bit of a Gen Z expert, right? What are you seeing as trends for Gen Z in going into these types of careers?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because it's changing very quickly. About 5 years ago, it was no one was really interested in the whole tool belt, we'll call it, whether that's concrete, construction, transportation, manufacturing, whatever. But no one was really interested in that from Generation Z. They had the app developer, the content creator, the influencer, the marketing manager, salesperson. These were the careers that were pushed to people like me when I was a kid and when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And then with the advancement of artificial intelligence, the entire generation has just picked their head up and gone, what can I do that will always make me relevant?
Mhm.
And we've seen a major increase with interest in Generation Z coming into underrepresented careers because they see that having a lot longer of a lifeline than they have previously. So it's really interesting because like 5 years ago, I was like, guys, this is going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to recruit them and very challenging to get them to even look at you. And today it's a whole lot more about learning how to collaborate with them so that they feel comfortable and confident coming back every day. Because again, we are a generation with crazy imposter syndrome and anxiety and depression and all of those things. But if you can learn to work with us, we will be incredible employees for so long. It's just really challenging because we have a crazy wall built around us from all of the concept of influence and the artificial intelligence. But again, like I said, I can't stop talking about that, but that's kind of where it's from.
And I mean, and even everybody listening to this podcast from 3 years to 2 years to a year ago and today, AI has been influencing our daily jobs more and more.
Yeah.
It is wild how 2 years ago, I hardly used AI, and today I use it every day.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible how we've switched as a society. And Gen Z is looking at, hey, how am I going to fit in? Are you a Gen Zer?
I am, yes.
Okay, so you're on probably the older end of the Gen Z, which is like what,
1997 to 2012.
Okay, 1997 and 2012. So, is that 29 years old then for the top end of Gen Zers right now?
Yeah, it is. So it's funny because most employers think about Gen Z and
they think they're young, really young.
I'm like, yeah, absolutely. We're definitely not 30. We don't own houses. We don't have it's fine.
Yes, exactly. And so employers are hiring Gen Zers, hopefully, right, as we get them into the trucking industry and get them excited about all of the opportunities within trucking. And so I love to talk to a Gen Zer about perspective and everything that you represent as a generation, basically.
We are quite unique individuals. I think that a lot of people have really just kind of started to figure millennials out, and it's like millennials are your like very influential managers. Like they're not your new people anymore. 27% of the workforce is Gen Z now, and so it's not insignificant at any stretch.
Not insignificant at all. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what is your vision then on getting more Gen Zers into trucking?
Yeah, in what sense? Like how
do you think we as an industry can reach more Gen Zers for trucking? So
to reach Gen Z and to fill the funnel is kind of two different things, but I'll definitely explain both because I think they're both really interesting. Mm-hmm. To reach Gen Z, we have tiny little attention spans, and they are so small, smaller than a goldfish. And so to connect with Gen Z, it's a lot about helping them see what they want to see immediately, and then bringing them in and giving them a space where they feel like they can be heard and they can feel like they are comfortable. And that is a very hard thing to tell people who are old school recruiters, mm-hmm. because old school recruitment concepts come around with, I'm paying you, show up, this is your job, this is how it goes. And while I respect that and I agree that that needs to be done, I also think that the generation as a whole is so different, to the sense that if you want us to come, if you want us to stay, you will have to understand who we are and how to communicate with us as if we're speaking a different language, because we kind of are. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of that is grabbing their attention right away, helping them take their wall down brick by brick, very slowly, and then giving them the space to a couple of things. They like everybody, want to be paid what they're due. But more than that, they want to feel like they're heard. They want to feel like they have a significant mentor. They're a very lonely generation. They really struggle with connection in a lot of ways. And so having somebody who they see as a mentor, who they see as a guide is really important for them and will help them. They won't necessarily tell you that that's important to them, but when they have it, when they get it, they'll feel this sense of unity, this sense of community that they're like, I'm a part of something. This is fabulous. I can stay. But then along with that, they really care about flexibility and they really care about growth. They desperately want to growth because they are an instant generation. They get everything very quickly. Amazon delivers by 8 o'clock tonight, all of these things. They see instant gratification as one of the top needs. And this is a battle because they can't always have everything that they want right away. And so again, there needs to be that place for conversation and communication about creating an understanding about why and what that looks like. But if you can help them see a path for growth and where they can go and what that can look like, that also will really, really keep their interest and make them want to stay somewhere. But in collaboration with that, Generation Z is mainly accessible right now because of what's happened with artificial intelligence. For that, they weren't even looking our way a second time. They were like a truck driver, like, okay, like enough. And like they would keep moving, which is heartbreaking and so sad. But they didn't understand the value behind it. And so the why is also really important. But to solve that problem, because I don't expect that this bubble of artificial intelligence craziness will last forever, I think that it's really important to help connect to kids who are so much younger. Because kids are asked for the first time, and that's really what the Wonder Workshop is all about. Kids are asked for the first time, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? Between 4 and 7. And then and that's when a dream kind of comes into place and when they start thinking about it. And then between 8 and 11, they start having dreams that turn into goals. And that's fabulous. They start thinking about actual action steps towards that. But then at 12 and 13, they're choosing the classes that they'll take in high school, which have already begun to streamline into the things that they can do post-grad. And so if you're telling this 12-year-old who's signing up for all academic classes, the highest kind of academia that they can get into, that being a truck driver is a very valid option, or being a technician could make them more than being a doctor, they're going to be like, no, that's not what I've been working towards. That's not what my goal is. And so already we've begun to miss the bus before they're even given formal career education. And that's kind of where the Wonder Workshop plays back into.
Yeah. And before they even understand the options out there in industries, it's like one-sided, and we need to make it more dimensional in terms of career development. So your book series tell me about like who did this amazing artwork. I love the artwork. Who was the person that did this artwork?
That's all me and my BFF ChatGPT. I did all of the artwork. I originally started working with different artists and figured out that a lot of them were using artificial intelligence to create the images. And so I was like, hey, I'm pretty good talking. I can probably figure out how to communicate with it. And it took a little while. It took probably 2 books of having other artists still continue to do it. And that was a bit of a frustration up front. Like there was a lot of challenges getting characters to look the same. And as it's gotten better, the images got a lot better. And so I actually do a twofold system because I also love that artists are artists and they are incredible at creating what they do. And I am a word artist. And so I'm good at describing what I want to see and making that come to life. But I work with different student interns who are art students, and they also create simultaneous books. So they're much slower, but the goal is that eventually there will be 2 of each book, one that I've created the graphics for, and then one that a intern artist has created.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. And the artwork is just, I feel like for a child to look at it, it's just going to catch their eye, and they're going to listen and absorb the story while they're watching and looking at the picture and just taking it all in. And I love that there's a magic element behind it. as well as the reality behind it. So tell me, where can somebody order these books, and who do you think should order these books?
Everybody, no. I think people who have kids between, so the graphics, just like what you said, I created the graphics with the intention of having younger siblings sit and watch, but not necessarily get the context of what is going on. And so I have 3-year-olds who have sat through the entire 30-page book and enjoyed looking at all of the pictures and not understand anything that's going on, but be engaged by it, which is a lot of fun. So the graphics were created for younger kids. The content was created for children really between 7 and 9 is kind of like the right age target. But then there's also in each of the stories, there's a deeper layer of something that they're learning through it. And so, for example, Sam the safety driver, or pardon me, Sam the safety person, at the back of the story and kind of throughout the story, there's a couple graphics that talk about the no human trafficking sign. And at the end, it describes this is a resource that you can use to explain to your children, this is something that is good to know when it's appropriate for them. And so that's like an example. Every story has something hidden within it that kind of takes it a little bit beyond the career that makes it more interesting for kids who are older. And so I don't think a 13-year-old is going to be very interested in it, but up to 11 and 12, it could still gauge some interest. But they are all on Amazon and all available there.
Absolutely. And how do you foresee, like, do you foresee a parent going into their classroom, their child's classroom, and reading this to a group of students?
I would love that. I would absolutely love that. It's a little more challenging to do just because school systems have a lot more regulations that I'm trying to figure out how to work through, but definitely homeschool groups. This is a fabulous place to use them. And I have this summer school activity book that I've created as well that partners with it. That's all about interpersonal exploration. So if you get the books, I would highly encourage to get that program as well, because what it does is every day it walks you through a different activity. So for example, let's say it's quiet spaces or loud spaces day. And so you do a puzzle at home in your room by yourself, and then your parents take you to a coffee shop and you do a puzzle in a coffee shop. And then you have the self-reflection of, where did I like working more? Where did I feel like I was thank you. Where did I feel like I was able to concentrate more? What gave me more energy? And then each day you kind of learn a little bit about yourself and the roles that you would be interested in actually completing. And then at the end, you do a project that helps you take all of those things and figure out what careers would really fit with who you are as a human being.
Oh, that's fascinating. And is that the same age level that you foresee, like the 9 to 11?
Yes. Yes. I think adults should go through that. I need to I need to recreate it so it's a little bit more adult facing forward, but I think anybody would really value
Yeah,
it.
anybody.
I've done it myself, and it's really taught me a lot about who I want to be and the work that I kind of want to do. And every day just really gives you a moment of self-reflection that we just never take the time to actually figure out. So it's, yes, created for 9 to 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds would still absolutely get so much value if they can get over the primary colors. But adults would just as well get lots of value from it. And if you complete it before the summer is over and you give me feedback on it so I can make it better, I'm giving away a week of camp at Muskoka Woods Sports Resort for kids. They've donated a week to help me do it. So much value in actually going through that. It's all free on my website right now.
Oh, how cool. I love that, because I was just thinking when you said that, like, I like to work in a quiet space. My husband would prefer to work at a coffee shop. And so everybody's different, and determining what's the better fit for you is like, I've just never thought about it, but learning, the earlier you learn, the better you're going to be able to adapt to your environment.
Yeah, absolutely. All people talk about in that context is, do I want to work at a desk or do I want to move around all day? And that's kind of the extent of where kids think about that and what they want as individuals. I'm like, no. There's so much more that goes into everybody's job. Like, do you like creativity or a strict set of guidelines? Do you like, there's just so many things.
Well, I'm excited because I'm going to be in July. I'll be at the American School Counselors Association, their annual conference, exhibiting, talking to, I think usually about 5,000 school counselors about trucking careers. And I'm going to take these books and do giveaways for some of the school counselors that really have interest. And the interesting thing about that conference is that there's elementary school counselors up all the way to high school. And so obviously this is going to be more geared towards those elementary aged school counselors, but they love resources like this. And I think that this could be something that they take back and read to their classrooms of students. I think that will be a fun little thing. And who doesn't love these awesome books, and these giveaways would be just so much fun. So is there anything else that you want to share with the listeners today about your books and your vision and how you hope that the industry is going to use these?
Yeah, they are all free. I believe so heavily in getting this information into kids' hands and helping set them up for success as they're getting older. And so I love a book. I love a paperback copy. I love flipping the pages and I put it on a shelf. I feel like it's like a little trophy at the end of reading them. But if that's not you, if it's not in your budget for whatever reason, all of them are available on my website for free. My biggest goal is just, like I said, to put the kids in a place where they can set themselves up for success. So share it with as many people as you can, get it in as many kids' hands as you can, but definitely don't let the cost of purchasing a book or a program or whatever that be get in your way of doing what they're meant to do.
Amazing. So you can order it online at Amazon, or you can go online and download it on your website.
Yeah, hannahdannecker.com.
Okay, hannahdannecker.com. We're going to put your information in the show notes, and so people can connect to your website. They can look at the books to purchase or look at the books to download. And what an amazing resource that you're offering to people to allow them to be able to download these resources for free. I mean, that's amazing. And so I'm going to have to create a sign for this conference to say, also, you can download these books for free online. And so maybe some school counselors and educators can take advantage of that resource as well. So thanks for being on the show today. Thanks for all you do and your vision and passion about bringing in the next generation into the trucking industry. We have an amazing industry, and we have to share that with all of these young students, because if they don't know about it, they're not going to go into our industry. They're going to go into the other industries that they're learning about. So we as an industry have to be there. We have to be represented in all of these areas of education and student organizations. So thank you for providing resources to help us to be able to do that.
Thank you for what you do. I mean, I wouldn't have even known to stand up and try and do anything if I didn't have women like you to look at who walked before me and started making a difference way earlier than I did. So I appreciate you and everything that you're doing as well.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And thanks for being on the show today. And if you want to connect with Hannah, please look in the show notes to get connected to her website, her contact information, and download these books, or go to Amazon and buy them.
Yes. Thank you.